The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome to another episode of the 15-Point Plan podcast. My name is Ryan Park Greigg, and as always, I am joined by my amazing co-host, Jacqueline Smith. And today, this is just such a fun topic to talk about, Jacqueline. This is a topic that I think we need to talk more about, that business owners, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and frankly, everybody needs a little bit more of. And it's the topic of sharing gratitude with each other, right?
Absolutely. I had an experience I was telling Ryan this morning, and actually this wasn't even going to be the topic of today's podcast, but I am just so inspired right now, Ryan. I had coffee with someone this morning, a business meeting, and at the end of our meeting, she just started pouring into me just words of encouragement and gratitude and sharing things that apparently I really needed to hear, because I actually started getting teary. I started feeling really emotional, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was apparently starved for this, but didn't even know. And it just was such a powerful reminder to me of the times where we maybe think about how we're thankful for someone, but how often are we actually taking that extra step to really share it with them and show them? And I mean, it just was a powerful experience for me this morning. I'm probably going to cry on this podcast today because of it. But people it's a hard time right now. And there's people that are doing their best, and we never know what they're struggling with, in private. And everyone's kind of seeing the highlight reel on social media a lot of the times. And you never know what that one text message or that one, word of encouragement. She could have ended the coffee like we were saying goodbye. Like, it was great. Thanks so much for meeting with me. But taking the time to share how I had impacted her with some things that I had shared, and, the things that I do in our community and whatnot. It just was really, really impactful for me.
And it's such a beautiful thing to do and to share, because it's easy for us to forget all of the things that we do. And if you're like me, you can maybe be hard on yourself and you think, gosh, I should be doing more, or gosh, I haven't done enough, or gosh, I've been doing this for so long, and look at so-and-so, they've done all these other things. And we rob ourselves, right? Comparison is the thief of joy, and we rob ourselves from that. And I imagine our listeners do that as well. And so taking a moment, I write in my journal every morning things that I'm thankful for, that I share gratitude for. But writing them in my journal is not enough, because what if I share that, well, I'm grateful for my best friend, I'm grateful for my brother? They're not going to get that message. So taking it that next step further, and maybe it's a text message, maybe it's a phone call, maybe you can go to coffee with them if they're near you, and you can just actually look them in the eye and say, Jacqueline, I am really inspired by you. You're doing this 75 hard thing. I see how you show up as a spouse. I see how you show up as a business leader. I see how you show up in your health. And I just wanted to tell you, you really inspire me. And actually telling those people that, and actually verbalizing it and putting it out to the universe and making sure that it's heard. And I just don't think that we do enough of that, right?
Yeah, I think we talk about the gratitude point on the 15-point plan. And I think a lot of us have a gratitude practice. Like, I know you journal your gratitudes, and even our teams, we share gratitude at the end of our meetings. And a lot of times, and I'm actually going to talk to our team about this, a lot of times people will share, I'm thankful for my spouse, I'm thankful for my sister-in-law, I'm thankful for my kids. And I wonder, how often do you do what you just said and actually look someone in the eye and tell them, I am so thankful for you?
Right. And if you can, you look them in the eye and you tell them that. But maybe we can't see people every day. We've all got friends or family or people that we admire that are in different areas, that are in whole other states or maybe even other countries. And you're right. That journal practice. So I'm getting the journaling point. I'm getting my gratitude point. But I've been journaling for years. And how many times have I written down something that I'm thankful for, but I haven't actually told that person?
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're here to remind you that when you think of that person, reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to them. And if you're busy in your day and you don't have a lot of time to give them a call, we'll send them a text. And if you have a little bit more time, pick up the phone and give them a call. It means so much to hear somebody's voice, doesn't it? And to hear
Yeah.
somebody's voice and to give you just a reminder of how amazing you are. We all need that reminder. And especially as business leaders, people that maybe lead real estate teams or they run restaurants like one of my best friends, Alex, or they show up as a father and they show up as a partner and they're leading multiple companies. And we forget that leaders need to be checked in with too.
Yeah.
That leaders need that gratitude reminder as well to say, hey, man, I see you. I see you and you're really inspiring me. What you do is very impressive. So another one of my gratitude or journal practices that I've been doing is I write poems. And it started about a year ago where every Saturday I would just write my amazing girlfriend a poem. And they're like, I was actually read the first one yesterday, Jacqueline, when I was sitting outside my house because I had to call the gas company because I came into my house and my house smelled like gas and my furnace wasn't turning on. And I thought, uh-oh, like this isn't good. And so I called the emergency gas line and the gas people actually came out to my house and they said, you got to go outside your house. You can't be in your house right now. So I'm sitting outside of my car and the first thing that came to mind was, I'm going to write a poem. And so I read the first poem that I ever wrote, and it was about a year ago. And it's like 6 lines, like it's so basic. And I just laugh because what I've learned is the evolution of that. It's just like anything that we do in our life. If we start to do something and we do it regularly, these things will evolve. Maybe that's your workout. Maybe that's your nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And now I get these downloads, as you might call them, to write poems. And I wrote one of my best friends, Alex, who I mentioned. I wrote him a poem the other day. And I wrote a poem for another one of my best friends, Sam. And it's like, I don't know. It's kind of weird, Jacqueline. And it shouldn't be that a man writes another man a poem. It felt weird to send them these poems. And now that I've done it, I keep getting more downloads of, okay, who's next? Like I'm going to write one for my brother. I'm going to write one for my other best friend. And I sent it. And as soon as I sent the send button to my friend, I was like, how are they going to take this? How are they going to receive this? And I started to worry a little bit about it. But quickly I reminded myself, you know what? It felt really dang good to write that for them. And I think they're going to receive this pretty well. And my friend Alex responded. He said, damn, dude, that was really dope. I love you. Can I share this with his wife? He asked, and he said, blush. And so he received it, and he received it well. And that guy is one of the hardest working, loving people that I know. And I know that not a lot of people are checking in with him to the magnitude that he is checking in with and delivering for other people. So leaders need to be checked in with well. Pick up the phone, give them a call, write them a little letter, write just 3 sentences about how much they mean to you, and then share it with them.
Yeah. I think too, like you might not even know the person, but if you see someone even on social media or someone that's inspired you, that you might not even know, to send them a gratitude, because even with social media, I mean, it's kind of vulnerable putting yourself out there, right? It's vulnerable, even this podcast where we record and we don't know how people are going to receive it. And so just, I guess it's given me a new perspective that, you could be interrupting someone's day in a moment that they're maybe in darkness or in discouragement. And just because they, are someone that you look up to, don't discount your words of encouragement. Or just because you think someone knows that you appreciate them or you told them, 6 months ago, it's kind of like that joke. I don't think it's that funny where the guy's like, why do I have to tell you I love you? I told you, 60 years ago.
Right.
Tell people how much they mean to you, because you don't know if they're going to be here tomorrow. We're not guaranteed tomorrow, but also, how it could impact their life. It could shift their mindset. They could be thinking about quitting. They could be going through, marriage troubles. Like they could be feeling really down about themselves and feeling like a failure. You just don't know what people are struggling with. And I think if we all collectively were to increase the amount that we actually shared these words of encouragement with each other, it would just lift everyone up. And so I love that you write your poems. And I think we can all find like our medium, like you can find a way. I mean, you could do an audio recording on your phone and send it, right? It could be a voicemail if they don't answer, but just don't let the day go by without sharing gratitude with someone. And I think that, my friends, is how you turn your gratitude point into what Ryan and I call a twofer.
That's right.
And you actually get your service point when you do share it. So if you're following the 15-point plan and you want to get both your gratitude and your service point today, reach out to someone that you care about, someone that has impacted your world, someone that you might know really well or not know really well, and let them know how they've impacted you and how much they mean to you. It could totally change the course of their day, of their week, of their life.
Absolutely, Jacqueline. And to take this even to another level, and people might call this a little woo-woo, but there's a whole thing called the quantum field, right? If you read Dr. Joe Dispenza, or you read maybe some ancient scriptures, and you look at the quantum field, nothing comes into our mind as a coincidence. Mm-hmm. Nothing actually comes into our mind as a coincidence. So when we're thinking about that person, when I'm thinking about my best friend, there's actually a pretty dang good chance that one of a few things is happening. Number one, they're probably thinking about us too. Number two, they might be in that down zone where they actually need that encouragement. Maybe they're in the actual hardest time of their day, and we thought about them for a reason. So keep that in mind. When that thought comes to you and you think, oh, that's weird, I just thought of Jacqueline, like reach out, send them a message, because it could be when they need it the most. It really could be when they need it the most. And they might receive that and go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to quit. Oh my gosh, I am going to keep going. Oh my gosh, I really am amazing. I just needed that little reminder.
Yeah.
Because we all work so hard. We all do so much, and it's easy to forget. And it's easy to get influenced in a negative way by looking and seeing what's going on in the world. And you've done so much and you've worked so hard for 10 years or 20 years. And then you spend 30 seconds looking on social media and think, oh, well, I could be doing more. But a quick reminder to somebody could just be that message that they need to keep going, and maybe even break through that boundary or break through that plateau to the next step of greatness in their life.
Yeah. So share your gratitude with someone today, and just remember everyone that you're passing throughout your day, strangers, you never know what they're struggling with. You never know what they're going through. So be kind, share your gratitude. Don't keep it to yourself, and make today and every day a great day. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the 15-Point Plan podcast. We really appreciate you. We have so much gratitude towards every single one of you who listens and shares your thoughts with us and shares this podcast. We appreciate you. Ryan and I, we just appreciate you listening and learning with us and being on this journey with us. So thank
Absolutely,
you.
100%. And we love it when you send us gratitude for the podcast as well. It's my favorite thing when I get somebody who I've never met, maybe even barely talk with, and they send me a message on Instagram at Ryan Park Greigg. They send Jacqueline a message on Instagram, Jacqueline Ray Smith, and they just say, hey, thank you for the podcast. That makes our day. So share your gratitude with us if you're feeling inspired to. And don't forget, check winmakegive.com for all of our previous podcasts, as well as the rest of the podcast network. Until next time, as Jacqueline said, we thank you for listening. Share your gratitude and have an amazing day.
Bye, everyone.